In this video, we're going to go over example number 2 in lesson 12.5, distance on the coordinate plane. Okay, we're using the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between 2 points. Here's a real-world example. Okay, it says the post office is 4 kilometers north of your friend's house. The library is 7 kilometers east of your friend's house. To the nearest tenth, circle that, that's important. How far is the post office from the library? Okay, so here we have to break up each sentence like we usually do with a real world problem and figure out how can we use this to help us solve our problem. Here they are giving us a coordinate plane, and notice the friend's house is right here. They actually put the friend's house at the origin. Okay, so let's figure out what the first sentence means and how we can use that to plot some points. It says the post office is 4 kilometers north of your friend's house. All right, and in the picture they gave us the friend's house right there. And they said the post office is 4 kilometers north. Think of what the word north means. They are giving us directions, okay? So if we have our compass right here, right, north is straight up, south is straight down, all right, west is to the left, right, think of the west coast of the United States, California, it's on this side of the United States on the left side, and then here to the right is the east, right, think of a map of the United States, we're on the east coast over to the right. So they're telling us that the post office is 4 kilometers north from the friend's house. So start at the friend's house, and like we said, our compass, north is straight up. So starting from the friend's house, we go up, straight up 1, 2, 3, 4, because they told us it was 4 kilometers north. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 units straight up. Let's plot it and write down that it's the post office. The second sentence says, the library is 7 kilometers east of your friend's house. That's really important, that sentence. Okay, it's 7 kilometers east. Let's go to our compass. East is straight to the right. And the library is 7 kilometers east of your friend's house. So look, starting at the friend's house, it tells us the library is 7 kilometers east. So we're going to start at the friend's house and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right here to the right. Let's say that that is the library. Now it says to the nearest tenth, how far is the post office from the library? So we need to figure out how far is it from here, this point, the post office to the library. So let's draw a line and take our straight edge. Okay. We need to find that distance. Remember, distance is like length. And here, look. Wow, we kind of already have a right triangle here because we can line it up with the y-axis and the x-axis. All right, because remember, like we talked about before, it's hard to figure out the distance between the 2 points because this line doesn't line up with the grid lines. But these 2 lines do. Now we have a right triangle that we made. So we can figure out the distance between these 2 points. All right, if we have a right triangle, the 2 sides adjacent to the right angle, we have a leg. This is a leg. This is a leg. And this side, which is what we're looking for, the distance between the post office and library, is opposite the right angle, so that's the hypotenuse. Okay. Now we can label this leg, we could do A, this one's B, and let's do the hypotenuse as C. Okay, remember, you could have labeled this B and this A. As long as the legs are A and B and the hypotenuse is C, we'll get the same answer if you had labeled this B and this A. Now let's see what we can get here. We can get the length of this side because we can count the units. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, which they told us In the problem, it's 4 units. Okay. Here, the side of this side of the triangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? They told us it's 7 units east. So this is 7. Now we have the lengths of two sides of our triangle, which means we could solve for the third by using the Pythagorean theorem because it's a right triangle and we're talking about the lengths. So it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know what a is. A is 4, so it's 4 squared plus, we know what b is. We figured out was 7 by counting the units, and then it equals c squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4, right? So it's 16 plus 7 squared, we know is 7 times 7, which is 49, and then equals c squared. All right, now you want to combine 16 and 49. They're both numbers, right? So 16 plus 49 is 65. So 65 equals c squared. To get c by itself, you have to undo that square. The inverse operation is a square root. Cancels out the square. Whatever you do to the one side, do to the other. Here is where we take the square root of 65. Okay, we know it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 9. Close to 8, right? Because we know that the square root of 64 is 8. So the square root of 65 is going to be really close to 8. It's probably going to be something like 8.1. So let's try. So we have the square root of 65 is 8.062, right? And then a bunch of numbers. So if you look back in our problem, they wanted us to round to the nearest tenth. So here it would be 8.1. 8.1 equals C. All right, so the last thing we need to do is to write down in a sentence what we found out. It says, how far is the post office from the library? The distance right here is 8.1, and we're talking about kilometers because that's what the units are, right? Kilometers. So let's write it down. The distance between the post office and library is 8.1 kilometers. Okay, it's about. I should have added the word about. Sorry, guys. Right? Because we're estimating. We're rounding, I mean. We are rounding. It's not exactly 8.1 because we rounded. So the library is about 8.1 kilometers. Don't forget the word about. Now try the got it number 2 and then watch the video to make sure you got it correct.